Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today is the day you've all been waiting for, the Pandora's Box Ascension Dragon Pit full event review. If you didn't watch it, you missed out. I highly recommend watching any VOD from this event because it is a very, very good event experience that you definitely don't want to have missed. So, just a heads up, before we get into all the fun details of this event, by the way, the reason I show this is because I never mentioned that there was a Fire Breathman sub-in, but there was a Fire Breathman sub-in. He got first in this, by the way. Spoiler alert. Anyways, yeah. Watch this event. If you haven't watched it already, please do not watch the event review beforehand because there's things that happen in this event that are really fun and really cool on a first event experience thing, and hearing it in a review is like hearing that Playboi Carti was on a rap album as a surprise feature. It's ruining the experience. Okay. Anyways, let's get into it. So, spoiler alert. Before we get into the rest of the video, I will be talking about performances, who won, what happened in the event, etc. So this is your mark. If you haven't already watched this, if you continue to watch, you will be spoiled. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's get it. Boom! My team won, baby. Let's go! Oh my god, it was crazy, dude. My team clutched up. Okay, we had an F it we ball moment, and that resulted in us having a chance at winning. Which honestly, I thought that my team stood a chance. I think it was a little hit or miss in predictions whether my team was going to be OP or the best one or one of the worst ones. So I think my team was fairly balanced, assuming that the prediction, or not assuming, considering that the predictions were hit or miss. I'd say that the team was relatively balanced. Some people will disagree because some people think that my PB teams are Mickey Mouse Incorporated, which partially is true. This time around, I don't know. Anyways, very cool event. Very glad that we won. And I think in terms of my event review, do consider that I had one of the better perspectives. So I probably got like the nice side of the event experience for the most part. There are some things where I just didn't do well, so that probably means that I didn't really get to properly experience certain games, but that's about it. Anyways, another heads up that I want to give is that I am recording this video the day after the event happened, so some immediate recency bias may no longer apply because obviously I've now had a night's rest on this experience. Also, honestly, 2 nights rest because I took a big old nap today. So anyways, let's get into the game by game, every step of the event review of this event. Another thing that I want to mention, sorry, a lot of disclaimers, is this was a one-time event. I'm probably not going to give much, the feedback I give is not like necessarily super helpful because they might not ever do one of these again. Besides the Genesis version, of course, but in the instance that there is another Dragon Pit, I guess there's some stuff that I could, give feedback on. Anyways, let's get into game by game everything. So I'm just gonna full screen it, mute this, and we're gonna go over the entire event experience. First off, my team, I guess. My team could be mentioned before we get into the actual details of the event. My team was pretty awesome sauce, I must say. It was very cool. First time that I teamed with Sneeg in an event. We did a little shared chat experience. That was very nice. I know that some of my mods and some of my chat wasn't a fan because typically on my streams, it's a lot of chat interaction between me and the chat. And obviously during an event, typically that's not too relevant because I won't be looking at the chat all the time during a stream because it's really difficult to interact with my chat and interact with my team, especially if my team is doing well and we're actively talking the entire process of the way. However, I do think that there's some valid comments that people made about maybe merged chats is a little bit too much. I will give a heads up. I already told my people I will be doing it again. I'll probably just talk to the staff to be like, hey, staff being my mods, hey, we could do this and maybe it'll be better for you guys. We'll see. Anyways, that's the pre-event thing. Then starting with the event's actual start time, which I think took a little bit, because Spreen I think was having some issues. This intro segment, pretty damn cool, I must say. Pretty awesome. It was pretty fire. One thing that I must give a lot of credit to for the PB staff team here is that they really did not they did not skimp on any parts of this event. They really just full sent it, and it paid off. There was 2 years of work that went into this event, and it showed. It definitely showed. It was definitely worth it. There was no part of this event where I thought like, well, okay, there was no part of this event without nitpicking, where I thought they like, were just like, oh, this will do. Or like, whatever, right? Like they really put the effort into every single detail of this event. There was tiny little like details for polishing that were really nice. I think they did a fantastic job. So here's part of the intro sequence. This was like the voting area, also the team reveal area at the same time, which was really cool. I just, obviously, we went in completely blind, just like every other team. Every team had like a little walkout moment. The walkout moment as well is the exact same spot for their what's it called, the voting section, so that's very cool too. Another thing to mention is that the chat's spamming cinematics for this event, top freaking notch, man, insane. I'll try to show a little bit of it. It's kind of hard to skim through the VOD exactly. Oh, here we go. You'll see here some NPCs and some stuff in chat. There was like actual voice acting in this from the PB staff, and also I think some third-party like people for other parts of this event, which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, there was a lot of theatrics, a lot of fun stuff. There was actual lore to this event, which was really cool. And yeah, there were some funny moments. I think my team did help a lot for that, personally speaking. Oh, there you go. Master Gar frickin' slips and dies, which was pretty funny. Either way, yeah, cinematics for this event, top notch. It can't really be mentioned enough. I think, if I'm gonna be completely honest, the cinematics heavily carried this experience. Heavily carried, which is a good thing, because it is their thing, of course, right? The cinematics were really, really good, and I think that really made this event experience so good, to the extent that I think a lot of people have been saying this is the best Minecraft event of the year. Keep in mind, Ender Cup was this year. I am possibly in agreement that this was a better event experience, or just a cooler event experience, maybe from a viewer perspective for the most part, than Ender Cup. At least theatrics, PB did a phenomenal job and was way like more insane. It was crazy. Like for our first event experience, insane. So that's something that should be mentioned for sure. Like, this event is being crowned potentially as best event of the year. I am leaning to be in agreement for the most part. Again, theatrics, 100%. So anyways, let's get into every single game. The first game that was played, which was the speedrun game. It was like a Mario Kart-esque game. I think was really cool in concept. I think there is things here that they really, the design here is cool. It's good. One thing I will mention, and maybe this is just a massive skill issue on my part, is because there was like item boxes, because it's Mario Kart-esque, item boxes. There was weird other effects that come into play for like a race game mode and all this stuff. If you did bad, it was pretty difficult to catch up, especially because the roster was relatively high comp. It was really difficult for me to be able to catch up, because number one, because there is player interaction during the game. Oh, there's an ad. Okay, cool. Because there was player interaction during the game, every player was permanently visible. Maybe this is a setting I missed. From what I could tell, that was not the case. Everyone was just permanently visible, which made it really difficult for someone who was falling behind, like myself, to be able to catch up, because I couldn't see the course half the time. It was really difficult to be able to tell where to go. So you'll notice it here. Boom. Right next to me, a lot of these players are entirely visible, which I think makes sense in terms of what they went for. But once I start fumbling a little bit, it became a little bit difficult. So yeah, either way, race game was cool in concept. There's some fun stuff in there. Very similar, or there was some gameplay features that are in Voidbound now, or whatever it's called, the newest actual PB game, not the newest including this one. Like the thin water, like dolphin spray sliding, which I thought was really cool, etc. So like, a lot of cool features thrown into this one. This map obviously looked really cool as well. It's just a huge, massive experience. And this kind of leads me into my first thought process of this event and my first like impression, which is a good thing. I must say, I want to mention it is a good thing. This event, to me, felt like if a like high budget Twitch Rivals Minecraft event had actual interesting gameplay. That is a massive compliment, and I told this to the PB staff team as well. One thing that Twitch Rivals is known for in terms of like really cool experiences is that they have really big theatrics, and that's usually the aspect of the event that Twitch doesn't skimp on either, and Twitch does really a really good job with. And I think PB here had a similar or maybe even better result in terms of theatrics, etc. So I think, yeah, comparable to something like a Twitch Rivals, PB did a fantastic job on the theatrics aspect. However, the added bonus that makes it so much more interesting is that they had better gameplay than a regular Twitch Rivals. Another thing I will say, and here's me fumbling on the screen, another thing I will say is, at its core, this is obviously still PB. With PB Dragon Pit, it was kind of unclear before the game started to get revealed whether the event was a full new thing or if it was just a spin on PB with like, you know, a more in-depth version of a lot of the game modes, which ended up being the result of the second one. Every single game in this event technically was a previous game. There is one exception for the most part, but we'll get into that when we get to game 3. Main thing that I want to mention regarding these are still PB games is, as I've exclaimed in the past, from my personal perspective of how I like to play events and how I enjoy events, I am not a super competitive player. PB does typically rank 3rd for me in terms of gameplay experience. Obviously, for me, it's honestly very debatable between Blockwars and MCC for first place. I will acknowledge I am likely very biased. 3rd is PB. I like the event. I think the games are cool, but I don't love any of the games. I like a lot of them. I don't love any of them, which is the main difference compared to an MCC and a Blockwars. That does still apply for Dragon Pit. So especially after a night's rest, I do think the theatrics had a lot of impact on this event experience. I thought it was really cool. I loved this event experience, but in terms of the actual core gameplay, had the thematic parts of it and all the cool stuff been stripped away, it would have just been all right. Like that is, I'm gonna be completely honest. That is my experience, which is not a dig at all to PB. That's just my personal experience and my personal, you know, way of how I perceive PB. Not at all a negative thing. That's just personal taste. So just wanted to get that out of the way as well. Okay, cool. Anyways, first game was cool. It was interesting. It was a fun little twist. Obviously, a very like straightforward, you know, thing. Oh, a racing game with like Mario Kart-esque elements makes sense, right? It's easily understandable, familiar concept, and a fun way that they have implemented it. One thing that I did think was unfortunate, which is not their fault. That's just like probably randomization of item boxes. I didn't see a dragon a single time, which I assume was the Bullet Bill. That was in the trailer, so that was really unfortunate that never was actually shown on the screen. I wish that I had, you know, considering I was like in the bottom 5, I think, for this game. I think it would have been really interesting if there was a dragon. I don't know. That's probably just an unfortunate RNG thing, but missed out on like the thing that I thought was the coolest from the trailer. So that sucks. Anyways, next game was SG Survival Games, which was just SG. If I'm going to be completely honest, just survival games. If you haven't watched PB before, you wouldn't be able to tell, but the map was mostly the same as a previous map, I think. There may have been some parts that were different, but the core like design of this map is the same as a previous PB map, or at least even a recurring PB map, because it is one that's been in rotation at least recently as well. So in terms of that core gameplay, relatively the same. Something that was different, though, about this map, I guess, is that the loot pool was changed. There was, like, you know, jump pots, slow pots, harming, whatever, right? I don't know what's all in the base loot table of PB. There was, like, knockback sticks as well. But there were some fun little items thrown into the game, which I thought made it funnier. It was a funnier event experience from that, if I'm going to be completely honest, because Fruit and I, at some point, I think it's at the end of this first round, just go in the middle, and there was like lava pools. Let me see if I can find the exact moment. Over here. there's like lava pools in the middle, as you can see on the screen here. And Fruit just goes, wait, grab your well, actually, that was actually before this, but grab your knockback stick, and we're going to try to smack someone into the lava, which was really funny. Obviously, that wouldn't have been possible in the base game, so I think that's a fun, nice little improvement, or at least from my perspective, a silly little twist that you could have thrown onto onto SG. This does lead into round 2 of SG, which brings up the main thing, from my perspective, that was slightly confusing. In retrospect, this is something I should have noticed, but I think this kind of plays on PB's core design. Something that happened in round 2 is that randomly throughout this game, everybody got respawned. That was dead, pretty much. I don't know if this is the moment or if it was later, but everybody gets respawned. I don't know exactly when. I think it was a little earlier, so I can't show the exact moment unless I can find it. But yeah, everybody who was dead at a certain point got... Oh, here we go. Here, boom. Everyone was about to be revived, and then if you look in the sky, everybody comes down at the same time. This twist was a fun, shocking surprise, right? It was a fun little surprise. I think for content purposes, funny, great. One thing that does apply is, at its core design, PB is a competitive event, so a lot of the games are built and designed in a competitive manner. This being very much not like a competitive twist, and more of like a silly, goofy twist, that was a little confusing, and at the time, at least, I thought it was a little inconsistent, because I was like, this is a typically competitive event at least. I know it's advertised as casual, but like the core games are still mostly competitive, and one thing that I guess does happen is you're mostly feeding kills to the people that were already doing well. I mean, everyone who respawns gets an iron sword and full chain, versus people with an iron sword and full iron, which obviously not for the entirety of that does it apply that only the people with who were alive before the respawn could get kills, but that was something that I thought about like yesterday after the event. I was like, SG, funny gimmick for content, perfect, but at its core gameplay, I'm like, what? Huh? So I don't think that matters necessarily. I'm just saying like, oh, that was a gimmick that I thought was silly, funny, but I was a little confused because I was like, this feels like I'm supposed to be a competitive player, but then this specific aspect of it is a little confusing. I do think that like Shane ended up getting a couple kills after the respawn, and from what I can tell, I think AJ the Bold maybe also was someone who respawned. I can't tell for sure, but yeah, both of them ended up doing pretty well. I think AJ the Bold ends up actually winning this round, which is a really funny thing if that was a fully respawned player. So yeah. Pretty silly moment for SG. Pretty good. Then comes the biggest plot twist probably of the entire event. I think at least the biggest cool impression that people got from this event. At least it's either first or second. Is because you vote here, or at least you think you can vote here, and then it cuts to Master Garf hanging on. And then, something drops in the void, and I think he falls again, unless not. I don't can't really tell. I don't remember. Oh yeah, there he goes. So Garf gets tumbled into the void again, which then results in a moment that I don't know if it's just loading in game or what. Oh yeah, everyone gets sent to this black box. There's some stuff in the chat. And then here we go. Absolutely insane moment here where and I just highly recommend watching the VOD if you haven't watched this. There's a random musical segment in front of this game, which is crazy. Like, there's some Hades, like, a musical segment. From what I can tell, this was, like, a Fiverr hired thing. But this was very, like, this reminded me of, like, Mario Odyssey, where I think Pauline has, obviously, like, the jump superstar thing. Where, obviously, this kind of was reminiscent of it. But, yeah. This was sick. I have absolutely zero complaints about this. Obviously, this is a one-time thing. or some people said this was a Cuphead thing. I will admit I've never played Cuphead. I've watched a lot of it, but I've never played it. This is obviously a one-time thing. You can't expect every event to do this, but this was I was about to swear, an amazing touch to this event. I think this was peak, and this really elevated the experience from like a solid like 9 up to like an 11. Like I was like, holy crap. what is going on? I was loving it. I was just confused. I was genuinely shocked. Like I did not have any expectations that this was going to happen. I think this was a fantastic touch. I think this was really, really cool. Huge props for them including this type of like fun detail into the mix. And another thing that I think should be mentioned here is like this is vanilla Minecraft. Like obviously there's maybe like plugins or whatever. Well, not maybe. There is probably plugins in this. So that is how things work. But like this is vanilla Minecraft, which is crazy. Crazy to think that like this is all possible in vanilla Minecraft. And especially if we think about like 1.21, which this was on 1.20, 0.2 or 0.4, 0.2. And then yeah, if this was on 1.21, even more features could have been implemented. Like it's so sick to see how vanilla Minecraft is able to be expanded upon like this. And specifically this game was an insane experience. This game, again, reminded me of Twitch Rivals. And something that I should mention here, maybe EV&T, but the main reason why I think it's important to mention here is because Twitch Rivals usually in Minecraft has a slight miss in terms of game design. But sometimes they do escape room stuff, which I think might just be an EV&T thing, so I'm so sorry, Noah. Actually, this is a Noah thing, not Twitch Rivals. EV&T thing. Sometimes Noah did it one time at least. He did a escape room event, and that was sick. And this game was the exact same experience for me, pretty much. I was like, this feels like a Twitch Rivals. This is crazy. Where did this come from? So yeah, if you couldn't tell from the little moment that was mentioned earlier in this, this game was called Hades Havoc. If you're not a PB watcher, there was a game called Haunted Havoc, which was like a haunted house where every player pretty much was a ghost, and there was a couple of hunters, and the hunters needed to kill the ghost, and the ghost had to like complete objectives, blah blah blah, whatever, right? That's the whole premise here. This is like a revamp of Haunted Havoc called Hades Havoc, where they just made 10 little mini games for your entire team to complete collectively. There was gems that you could collect for bonus points around the map, which is mostly, I assume, intended for people to like find while wandering around while your teammates are already doing stuff, which was what my team did. I ended up getting like 4 of the gems or whatever. But yeah, this game was cool as hell. I thought it was sick. I was a little confused. I think I just unfortunately ended up going for the one objective that had a kind of unclear entrance. So I was kind of stuck at the beginning. If you go over here, you see this like glowing platform. I was like, where do I even go in this mountain? How do I get in there? I was like, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Help, help. I'm stuck. And then I eventually over here, I find it and I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. Anyways, what happens is you go over here and this was like the siren puzzle or something. This was sliding ice puzzle. Now, if you have any idea of Alex Wolfeei lore, you'll understand that I love Pokemon and I like ice puzzles. So this was pretty fire. One thing is that here I was learning like how the game worked. So I was like, huh? Huh? Confusion? Huh? However, eventually I figured it out. We don't need to look at my embarrassing gameplay performance right now. This is when I find out, like, oh, this is how the game works. I think it's right here. I'm like, that's what I'm supposed to do. Because then the block slides, and then bang. And then you send it, bang. And then the other block, right? The other block now goes over, right? I think is what I do. Because now I'm thinking. I'm like, how do I do this? And then, oh, this, boom. And then I wait for it to go to the other end. And then the block goes into the... I figured it out here. Yep. And then just read the chat. I don't know why. Either way, it doesn't matter. This game was cool. I didn't really get to see any other games. Not even really. I just fully didn't. I only did one of the mini games, which were the contracts on the right side of the screen. This game was just sick. I mean, I would love to yap even more about like the details of why this game was sick, but I think if you've already watched the event, you would just get kind of mad at me just yapping so much. This was just sick. It was a really cool event experience, especially this game. It's an escape room. There's little mini games, and one thing that needs to be mentioned, which was why my team was able to clutch up in this event, is at the end of this course, which is... I just realized this game was long as hell. Over here, when you go over here and you exit with your team, which is there's a little, this over here, it goes like, ooh, you did all the contracts. Good job. You got extra points from the time you saved. However, hold up, there's a little plot twist. Plot twist. You didn't think it would be that easy, huh? To escape, you must do my final challenge, but don't worry. There's blah, 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 whatever. Wager up to half your points. Double or nothing, baby. And then we get to choose, and my team's like, well, we're currently in, like, 7th. Well. And guess what? We wager everything, baby. Let's go. And was it worth it? Well, you'll find out right here. There's a little escape room that had a bunch of stuff in it. I read this. It's like, oh, scaffolding. We're going to need scaffolding at some point. Huh, interesting. There was a little block puzzle. This is very, like, Gridrunners-esque, kind of. Which, whatever, right? But, yeah, there was like, oh, these guys have colored buttons. We need to call out the colored buttons. Then, boom, parkour. Wait for the jump. Yup, I knew the red was gonna... Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. And then, boom, I'm done. Fruit has to do it now. Next up for us was they had like a invisible parkour below here, and these cakes represented the invisible blocks. So Fruit clutched up here. Well, not clutched up necessarily, but like Fruit explained here to them how to handle it. That's why I was in the corner, because he was like, oh, just go there, blah, blah, whatever, right? Then, boom, I was like, oh... The like over here, oh wait, actually this is where they got, so this is where you needed the scaffolding, then you go up, and then there's this puzzle. This is some randomized thing I didn't understand. Levitation goes up and down, obviously, and then boom, they do the levitation. There's this door, there, yep, and then they're escaping, and then we're like, go, that way, and you'll see here, diamond blocks, stand on the diamond blocks to complete. Bang! Success! Huge! Guess what my team got? Let me press tab real quick, come on. Am I going to press tab? When do I press tab? There we go. Second place, baby! Huge! So that was a huge clutch moment because I'm going to be so for real. Highly benefited my team. But this game kind of was the decider of the entire event. Because if you look at the scores, multiplied, my team got about 5.3k. Blue got 5.7. It didn't entirely decide the entire event, but it definitely helped a lot. I think, actually, I'm going to retract my statement on it decided the entire event. But it had a lot of impact. Because my team was in 7th, and after this specific game, my team was in 2nd. Guess what? Where the blue team was after this game? 1st, exactly. So that was just a cool event experience. Enough about this game. Okay, it was cool. It was sick. It was fire. I loved it. There was a little break after. Then there was the next game, which was Hyperdrive, which had a really funny moment here. Should also mention, I didn't mention this yet. The cinematics didn't just end at the voting and everything else. Every game had a little, like, cinematic tutorial, but then also a little regular PB gameplay tutorial. So there was a lot of tutorial layers, which was really funny. But yeah, this one was pretty silly. Hyperdrive, I will admit, just Hyperdrive. There was one new map, which I did not do great at because I didn't know what the hell was going on. But yes, this map obviously is one that you've seen before. The next map is one that you've seen before. The next map, that's not the next map. Okay, I skipped through them too fast. This map, you've seen before. This map, you've seen before. However, this map, brand new. And I hope that this is reusable content for PB, maybe for Hyperdrive. One thing that they mentioned is a lot of Dragon Pit stuff can't be reused because obviously, like with puzzles and escape room stuff, you can't, you'd have to make an entirely different solution and an entirely different thing for that. So I understand that that's not doable. However, This should be doable, I think, probably. This seems like something they could potentially put in as a hyperdrive map. I must say, though, it's huge. Why is it so big? I don't know, but I thought it was cool. It was a fun experience, and it is massive. Absolutely insanely huge map. But it was very cool looking, so that's that. So yeah, hyperdrive was cool. Next up was Temple Lockout, which had a freaking DJ. Yeah, I mean, the Temple Lockout map, if we're gonna go to this, oh, it's already showcasing part of the thing, but like the actual map itself is like insanely looking. It looks insane. It's like a futuristic city type of vibe, which I think is sick as hell. And then the gameplay itself, I mean, it's just Temple Lockouts, but the items are all reskinned. There's different textures. Temple Lockout's good though, so like Temple Lockout's a good game. For PB, it has to rank high. Like, I've had bad experiences in the past where I thought Temple Lockout was overrated. Obviously, I don't think that's the case. I will just say that, like, Temple Lockout's good. It's a good game. My team did well, so it was really hyped for us to do well in Temple Lockout and clutch up like that. But yeah, Temple Lockout, just Temple Lockout. So if you like Temple Lockout, you would probably like this game. So that's kind of it. Temple Lockout was good. It was a good game. Yeah, pretty much like normal experience. Some of the platforms were like raised and lowered or whatever. Like the claiming the points, like this one, for example, where you're like, huh, how do we get up here? Oh, look at that. See, that's like silly little moments that were in there. But for the rest, this is cool. Another thing that should be mentioned, I don't know if I've already mentioned it at this point, but I know Sneak at least was very, very excited about this part of the event at this point. The music, heat. The music was fire, okay? The music was gas. PB Dragon Pit music, S tier. It was fire. It made for a very immersive experience. It was sick. And specifically, Temple Lockout was like peak music. It was awesome. So yeah. Just wanted to mention that because I don't think I mentioned it yet. Again, there's a lot of like polish and certain qualities and details like that where I obviously noticed it, but I'm like, oh, this is something that I might forget. So I just wanted to mention the music was so good. It was great. Anyways, Temple Lockout, fire. Red team ended up clutching up in this one. I think they did like fantastic. If we're looking at the scores here, our team did really good too, though, because we had, as you can see, everybody in our team got top 10. In this game, and then if you look at the actual results of the game, red team up top, we got second, and the point gap was pretty nice. So yeah, pretty big clutch moment. Then it was time for the final game, which was Gauntlets, but not Gauntlet 2, just Gauntlet, which was confusing because I'm used to Gauntlet 2. And in Gauntlet 2, the way the game is formatted is Game 1 is one that doesn't count for points. And it's one where you try to win to be able to decide what game gets like a multiplier. And the rest of the games all matter for points. So it's 5 rounds, but the first round it's not for points, it only decides the multiplier. I thought that was the case here too. So when I found out that my team getting 0 cows in the first cow game, which I will fully admit this game is, like, I think it's meant to be silly, but it's definitely a very flawed game mode. I'm going to be so honest and for real. This is a extremely flawed game mode. For a casual experience, it's fine, but because of the core design of PB being a more competitive leading event, this was an inconsistency that at the time, and especially also in retrospect, I think was, even for like claiming it's casual, a little too inconsistent, especially when you have games like SG, Temple Lockout, Hyperdrive, which are not casual games at all in the mix. This felt very out of place, in my opinion at least. So yeah, just wanted to mention that like this game I thought was it was very, very silly. But sure, right? The whole premise here, by the way, is cows spawn in the middle, you punch them to your team's area, blah blah blah. The whole thing is my team was actually doing fantastic. We had a little train going on. I was punching them from mid to my team, and then Zam was punching them from where I shot them roughly back to our team. So we were popping off. We were doing fantastic. The problem is what you can very easily do in this game is one person can just go in your area and punch every cow out, and your entire progress is completely void. It's absolutely ruined, and you can't do anything about it. And especially because our team was already doing really well. I think we were either in first or second in this game. I think it was second. We were already projected to at least have a chance at winning. People were obviously going to go for us because they were like, well, the green team's winning, so we must go for blah, 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 whatever. If you look in the chat right here, it's kind of blurry. We got 0. The reason why is because one MFer from yellow team decided, hey, I don't like green team. I'm going to punch all their freaking cows out. And we got nothing. Nothing. Like, I didn't know this mattered for points. But in retrospect, why, man? This is messed up. Like, oh my god. Anyways, next game was Sand Surfers, which if you can't tell already, I died like almost immediately because I'm a noob. Mostly, I'm just extremely inconsistent at this game. Sometimes I'm the GOAT, sometimes I'm the absolute worst. So, anyways, Sand Surfers, just Sand Surfers. I mean, the same game as before, which I mean, it's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with this game. It's like, all right, it's just a silly little party game. So that's Sand Surfers. And then next up was the Sheep game, which, dude, I am so mad. This is like my favorite game in the event, and look what happens. That's just so unlucky, man. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean this happened? What do you mean, like, this is so out of my control. Like, what? That's so, just stupid. That's just stupid. Like, this is my favorite game. I was looking forward to so much. Probably wouldn't have been my favorite because of the third game being really cool, but this is one of my favorite games in PB of all time, and I just get absolutely griefed, okay, by one of the Spanish people, which is freaking messed up, man. I hate that. I thought it was stupid, and I was really sad because this is the one game that I really, really love consistently in PB, and I didn't get to play it, which sucks. That's just like people in my chat going, Wolfeei, look at the gameplay! Not my fault! This is not my fault at all! Okay, oh, we go back, oh, we go forth, oh my god, I'm like, oh, wait, sheep, and then, suddenly, this Spanish guy, Farfadox, respect to you, by the way, I have nothing against this guy personally, just in this moment, I was like, oh my god, of course, but, this, Spanish streamer, who is way bigger than me, decides, hey, wait, doesn't the game work with right-clicking the sheep? I found some sheep, haha, lol, and I die, like, so unlucky, just extremely unlucky. So, sheep game, I can't rate the sheep game. I like the sheep game, so it's probably good, I just didn't get to play it. Next up was obstacles, which was confusing, because I was like, oh, it's obstacles, we get to place blocks. But at the start of the game, it's just a parkour course, which I thought was cool. Then there was a moment where you actually did get to place blocks for a little bit, and then afterwards you didn't get to place blocks for a little bit, so it's just parkour again. I think this is probably my favorite obstacles course that they've done, but if I had to be completely honest, I don't think this really was like a proper obstacles course. And then there's the final game, which was an interesting one. You have one objective: get gold at the end of this course and bring it back to your base. However, there is fire, and the fire comes from the sky every 30 seconds, and you have to stand in a area that has green like colored blocks below it, which you'll see throughout this game over there. That's a safe zone. You have to stand in that to be able to not die to the fire. I thought this game was cool. Again, I think it's because of the theatrics and like just the full like first event experience that there's a lot of recency bias to this. But I think this is cool. If this was in a Gauntlet event again, or in a Gauntlet 2 or something like that, I would be happy. Like, I think this is cool. Considering I didn't get to play the sheep game, this was my favorite game in Gauntlet. I think this was the coolest one. But I will say that overall, partially because I didn't get to play the sheep game, but also just in general, I think this was probably one of the weaker points of the event. Which is not necessarily like a bad thing, but like in terms of core gameplay, you have a game where you can easily get griefed by everybody, and considering there's no like funny voice chat or anything, it's just kind of like random and kind of feels eh. Then Sand Surfers, it's fine. Like, Sand Surfers is not like bad, it's just alright. Then Sheep Game I think is cool. The obstacles was like solid. I mean, I personally am still of the belief that an obstacles type game doesn't belong in a game that seems like it's a party game, but maybe Gauntlet isn't supposed to be a party game, but then some of the other games seem like it should be, so I don't know. And then this last game, I think it was cool for like the experience, but in terms of core gameplay, it's like fine. Which then leads to the finale, which first of all, we thought there was going to be a reveal of like, oh, purple versus lime. It just like shows you like, we're like, oh, okay, I guess they don't like want to like reveal or something how that all works. So going into this, obviously PB, if you watch it before, the finale is Coliseum, which is like a Valorant or CSGO or Extraction or whatever like type of game mode, of course, right? Where it's crossbows, you have a limited amount of lives, and you know, whoever has players remaining at the end when another team dies wins the round. It was advertised best of 7, go ham. We were like, all right, lock in, we got this. We're gonna pop off. We're gonna do this. However, as you can tell from this VOD, there are almost 40 minutes remaining on this VOD. Some of it was me yapping at the end, so let's cut off maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Almost half an hour of gameplay is remaining. Do you really think that half an hour is filled up by just Coliseum? Because it sure wasn't. Round 1 goes pretty solid. Okay, we win this round. We do really well. Not sure how the hell I survived that, by the way. But I did, so sure, I guess. Maybe I blended into the bamboo because I'm green, but I'm also red, so I don't know. But my team does fantastic. Mermaids win the round. I was like, GG, let's go, huge. But, we're like, okay, now what? And, okay, right? So, nothing's happening. Oh, there's fire. Okay, what do you mean? Okay. Confusion. Okay. Oh, okay, we're falling. So, and now what? And then, okay, so what? You're like, okay, what happened? Suddenly, we're in what I assume to be the dragon pit, and we see a dragon and a hooded man, or a hooded figure, I should say. We don't know if it's a man at the time. But here comes the grand reveal of whatever the hell was going on with this lore. Here we go. Okay, I've waited too long for this moment. And then, let's see. Where's this grand reveal? I don't remember. I don't remember exactly when the reveal is, but very cool moments. We're like, oh my god, it's the dragon from the dragon pit. And then we're in this like arena. We're like, what's going on? What the freak? And then, boom! You will now all face your doom. Boom! Master Garf. Defeat Master Garf. That was the whole premise of this, which is really funny. And then what happened was everyone was tasked to break the 10 gems or 8 gems, I think. Every player like works together in this finale all together to make this happen. It's kind of similar to the third game, where it's little objectives that need to be completed to get to the finish. One thing I must say is my ass clutched up in parkour, alright? Boom, here we go. You go to the... Oh, I frick it up here. Okay, yep. And boom, one defeated. I'm so crazy. So crazy. I'm insane. I'm the best. Feinberg's there. He's like, man, I can't claim the credit for that one. Yeah, Feinberg, sometimes I'm the S tier. I know you carried me partially in Block Wars, but sometimes I'm the carry. That's right. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of all I really did in this. I mean, there was a little Disco Fever area that people had to complete as well. But I thought this finale spin was interesting. There was also like this boss battle, which is pretty cool at the end. And yeah, one thing I will say, and this is something that I think maybe it's because of lack of time availability or maybe other reasons, I do feel really bad for the purple team, which was the team we were fighting against in Coliseum, because I feel like the finale was kind of cut short. Not playing out Coliseum felt like the purple team kind of got scammed. I know it, like, they still tried in the first round, but it feels kind of weird that green team is technically titled as the winners of the event, which is our team. Our team is technically titled as the winners of the event when we only won one round of Coliseum. I mean, we got the most points. Maybe that's also a factor as to who wins, but like, if we just kind of like, I don't know, it felt a little bit cheap that we got given the win. Also, here's Master Garf hitting the Gundam style. Anyways, felt a little bit cheap that we just won. So I don't know. I thought that definitely could have been slightly improved, but I don't think that like well, not tiny. I don't think that like issue should like make the event experience be considered like that much worse, because I don't think it was. Like, I think this event was, again, one of, if not the well, it's either number 1 or number 2 of 2024 in terms of Minecraft event experiences, which is really cool. So yeah, that's the review of every single game in detail. I yap a lot, so hopefully I got every point across. Hopefully everything was clear and understandable of what I was trying to say. PB Dragon Pit, really cool experience. Probably one that won't be forgotten. It's going to be talked about a good amount, I think. I am very curious to see how PB will follow this up. Obviously, I don't think anyone expects the next Pandora's box to be anywhere near this level of, like, event experience, but crazy event, really cool. Hopefully, if the PB team ever plans to do another event like this, hopefully they can get some backing from like a Twitch Rivals or something like that, where they'll get like obviously like paid for it. Because I think this could have been such a easy shoe-in for a Twitch Rivals event. I think it would have been really sick. Obviously, the main problem would have been that this is supposed to be a casual event experience, and with a prize pool that isn't doable. But maybe if PB wanted to give this another shot and wanted to make a competitive version of this, and with a prize pool, etc., maybe more competitive leaning, I think they totally could have pulled something like that off. So yeah, fantastic event. Really good job to the PB staff team, to Groink Studios. Really good job. I thought it was really, really cool. And yeah, I'm really happy that I got to play this, because the event experience was crazy. It was nuts. Okay, it was cool. It was cool as hell. It was fire. I thought it was sick. Yeah, that's my review. So to maybe conclude, I guess I should just do a conclusion, because some people sometimes misinterpret my opinion because of one thing that I say and then they forget that I said it. Event experience overall, I thought was really cool. Either number 1 or number 2 events that I've seen this entire year. Number 1 that I've played. It's the best event I've played this year. I didn't play in Ender Cup, of course, but it's at least the best event I've played. Might also be the best event I've seen. I don't remember exactly the quality of Ender Cup. Ender Cup was really, really good, of course. I can't deny that it was really good, but I don't know if I liked it more than PB. There's a chance that I'm biased, because obviously there's funny references in here, because of, I know a lot of the people from the PB staff team, so there's funny moments in here, but yeah, event experience, the best of the year or the second best of the year, either way, it is extremely really good. Gameplay, better than an average PB for me, right? There's, the new game, the Hades Havoc was sick. There were some fun gimmicks thrown into the event that I thought were pretty interesting. Probably better on average than a regular PB for me, or maybe tied with just a regular PB, because it is PB. I'm not going to pretend like PB is my favorite event to play in. I like it, I don't love it. This event I loved as an event experience, but from a gameplay perspective, it was cool. I liked it. It was cool. For the rest, nothing really to say. That's it, right? The event experience and the gameplay experience, that's about it. Music was really cool. Visuals were really cool. I think the teams, for the most part, were pretty interesting and cool. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Hopefully you liked my review of Pandora's Box. I know PB has a lot of ride or die stands, pretty much. So I'm sure that some of you didn't like the fact that I didn't 100% love this event. I thought it was really, really good though. So yeah, positive, very positive experience for PB. Glad that they did it. and it won't be forgotten. And they really raised the bar for events, at least for one-time events. So anyone who plans to do a one-time Minecraft event, you know, yeah, take notes from PB because they did a really good job. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.